everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Anushka, and if you're new here, I basically just do a lot of fun artsy videos, so don't forget to check out my channel. I'm sure you'll find something interesting. But for today's video, I thought of making this journal entry, and it's gonna be of a baby gorilla. But as I make this art piece, I'm also going to be answering some of the questions that you guys asked me on Instagram. The very first question is, how did you get started in art? So I actually have a really funny story related to this. When I was younger, I couldn't paint or draw to save my life, but my eldest sister could, and me and my other sister used to steal all her drawings and just paint in them, which is super sad for her, but that's what kind of sparked the desire to paint. And eventually, when I went to school and had to choose a sixth subject for myself, I chose art, and that's when I really got to work on my skills, and I knew that I loved art, and it just became my thing. The next question is, which one do you prefer, watercolor or gouache? And that is a tough one. If you had probably asked me a year ago, I would have said watercolor, but I've come such a long way since then, and now that I'm making mixed media art, it's so hard for me to pick one because I usually just work with whatever seems the most appropriate to express myself in that moment. So this next question I get asked a lot, which is, how do you plan your journal spreads? And to that I'm gonna say that I don't. I swear, I really don't plan my journal spreads. In fact, I started making my journal as a way to have a safe space to just explore whatever ideas I had without the judgment or the expectations that painting on a canvas can get you. I really don't focus too much on how the final piece looks, because my time in my journal is just about being explorative and experimenting with new things. But I will say one thing is, when I start my piece, I usually have a central theme that I'm working with. It could be an image, it could be a word, a feeling, a quote, or just anything that inspires me in that moment. And then the other things just kind of flow outwards from that feeling. Also, I have to say that I was getting a bit scared about this entry as I was making it, but I started loving how this spread looked after a while, because even though I've used a lot of colors, which is always tricky, they just kind of balanced each other out, so I'm still pretty impressed with myself. Alright, let's get to the next question. I really wanna make art, but I don't know where to start. Honestly, I mean, if you want to make mixed media art, I would suggest that try to make it more accessible for yourself. So just go to any dollar store or an art store and pick up the cheapest supplies that you can find, because sometimes it's so intimidating to work with expensive material. For example, the journal that I'm currently working in is actually from the dollar store, and it's just $4, so you don't really need expensive stuff to get started. But the main thing is that we should be enjoying the process and just be creating to create. So I would say just get started wherever you are with whatever you have. The next question is, how can I make my collages more interesting? And honestly, the way that I do this is to make sure that there's enough texture by adding different materials, pens, glitter, sometimes even cut-ups from magazines, and just things to make it more interesting. I also try to have a focal point in my collage so that the viewer has some place to rest their attention. Another thing I do is try to make it dynamic by adding patterns and lines and different shapes to make sure that there is a continuous flow in the painting. But again, these are just some practices and techniques that I follow. You could have a completely different set of things that work for you. So just try to experiment and explore and be as open when you're with your journal. The collage is done. I am so happy with how it turned out. There was maybe like a brief minute there where I was doubting the process, but I just stuck with it and I'm so happy I did because I love how it's looking right now. Also, I would like to thank each and every one of you for watching this video and just seeing me do what I love to do. So if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like it, and if you have any questions, feel free to comment. I will make sure to answer all your questions, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, guys. I come up with new content every 2 weeks, and I'll catch you guys soon. Take care.